I'm technically on my lunch break right now from my job, but we have a nice little walking trail that I'm grateful for. And I wanted to take a few moments to talk about creative fear, which I've talked about, I think, before, but I experienced again this morning. I'm doing a series of challenges, and this morning before work, my challenge was to block out 2 hours of time to dedicate solely to my art, which I woke up early and did. And I had an instinct to use oil paint, which I hadn't used in years. In fact, all my oil paints were sitting in a storage container, and I was so hesitant to use them and to start a painting, which is so funny to be scared of paint, but I was. And I sat with that fear and hesitation for a moment, and I held my acrylic paints and I looked at my oil paints and I was like, what am I afraid of right now? The time it will take to dry, the fact that I haven't used them in a while, that it won't turn out the way I want it to, when I didn't even have a vision for my painting to begin with. And it was only after I just took a deep breath, took out my oil paints, and started anyway, that I felt inspiration and felt a path forward to get an idea of what I was painting. Follow your intuition. Even if there's fear, follow it anyway. And you will find guidance along the way. Forgive the change of scenery here. It's the next day from when I spoke just yesterday, and if you can tell, there's a storm coming, so I'm going to try to talk fast here. Another thing that I experienced today was not creative fear, but creative hesitancy. I never expected to be so comfortable talking to the camera and posting to YouTube, which is very surprising to me that it's coming so naturally, even though sometimes I may not be the most articulate or look at the camera instead of myself, but that I think is a skill that will just come in time. But in this creative journey that I'm on, this has been very natural to me, talking, and perhaps it's also because my audience is very small at the moment, but either way, I'm also posting my work on Substack, mostly my writing, some essays and some poems, and some of my photographs and art, but I have had a lot of hesitancy in sharing my work on there, mostly with my words, and part of it is I feel like I'll run out of things to post, I'll run out of things to say, which is very interesting because when you're being creative and you're tapping into your creativity, when you're tapping into your consciousness, subconscious, whatever you want to call it, that is supposed to be an infinite resource. You are infinite, you are limitless. Yet I have this hesitancy about running out of the tap running dry. I've been experiencing both creative fear and creative hesitancy this week. And that is what I'm trying to push through. And I'm both being selective with my poems that I post, restrictive almost, and not because I don't think they're good enough, but I'm not sure why I'm so hesitant. It's almost like I want to save them for myself, and I want to keep them a secret, even though the whole point of being an artist and the whole goal of a creative journey is to share your work, to help others, to inspire others, to grow your community, to meet people, etc., etc. Yet I want to keep so much close to my chest. My questions for you are, what creative fear is holding you back? Is it just self-sabotage? Are you following your creative intuition? Why or why not?